So today we had yet another big win for the digital future of gaming. These dubs, boys, they're endless. I can't hold them all. Are you sick of winning yet? Yes, you read the title correctly. We got an update from Nintendo on the Wii U and 3DS eShop closures today. We've got some dates here. As of, oh shit, you're gonna make me do the dates. August 29th, 2022. Holy shit, so that's next month. It will no longer be possible to add funds on these eShops. And as of March 27th, 2023, purchases will no longer be available. So March 27th is the official full shutdown date for these eShops. At that point, on that day, no more buying games. If you have gift cards, funds on any of these systems, you better go use them soon. Now, this doesn't cut off downloads. They do say, quote, even after March 27th, 2023, and for the foreseeable future, it will still be possible to re-download games and DLC, receive software updates, and enjoy online play on the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS family of systems. Wow, how generous of them. Seriously, can we get thank you Nintendo trending on Twitter? They're going to allow you, think about this, they're going to allow us to keep downloading games for the foreseeable future. Gotta have that caveat in there, obviously. How long is the foreseeable future? Is it 10 years? Is it 5 years? 2? I can't wait to find out. This is kind of becoming a new game for me when it comes to modern gaming. It's the game within the games. When I buy a digital game, how long am I going to have the privilege of playing it for? When I give them $60, am I getting this game again for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? In the case of Ubisoft, 15 minutes maybe. I love it. Again, it's like an extra layer to gaming. It's so fun. And in that vein, think about how benevolent our Nintendo overlords are being here. The Wii U is so old, so ancient. It came out almost a whole 10 years ago, and they're still, almost 10 years later, gonna let you download the games you bought on it, again, for the foreseeable future. Yeah, they're stopping you from buying anything else, forcing you to pay aftermarket prices for games secondhand, or completely being unable to purchase anything that was digital only on these platforms. But yeah, once more, it needs to be stressed. I mean, a whole 10 years, the Wii U will have been on the market, and they're still letting you download the games you bought on it. Wow, just amazing. These Nintendo haters are always out here acting like Nintendo never did anything for you. How many other platforms can you name where you can buy a game digitally and still download it 10 years later? Try to name 30 platforms where you can do that. I bet you can't. And don't forget, because people will tout like, oh, well, if they're cutting off access to digital games, just go buy the physical versions then. Yeah, for way more money? Like I said, when we first heard news that this was going to happen, the 3DS, I think in particular, because with the Wii U, so many of the big games of that library have migrated over to the Nintendo Switch. Surely more to come. Where the hell is Xenoblade Chronicles X already? I mean, seriously. But with the 3DS, that's not the case. I said again when we first heard they were going to be shutting down these marketplaces, that those 3DS second-hand prices were going to be shooting up big time because of this. And they certainly have been already. If you look up 3DS games on like eBay and that, already a lot of the games are fetching pretty high prices. And I'm sure once this goes into full effect, once digital purchases are completely cut off, those prices are going to get even crazier. You know, this is something I say a lot. Your normal people aren't typically honed into this stuff. Like less than 1% of the planet's population is actually following what is going on with the Wii U eShop. So for many, they're going to find out after this stuff goes into effect. For many, it may be that they turn on their Wii U, probably more so their 3DS, and say, hey, I want to see what's in the store, what I could buy after the cutoff date, and that's when they're going to find out the store doesn't exist anymore. So with prices already trending upward on a lot of this stuff, I still say the same thing that I said then. If you're into collecting this stuff physically, now I think is the time to buy. I think they're going to just keep going up. Obviously, if you want the digital games, the same, you don't really have much option after, again, March 27th. If you want any of this stuff digitally, you definitely better buy it now. Which, yeah, that's the other thing. If you want to buy the digital-only stuff, this is your last chance. Obviously, if a game wasn't made physically available, you don't have that option. So those games will effectively be gone. Just lost to time at that point. Also, something people miss out on with this idea, especially when it comes to the workaround, I'll say that I'll discuss in a minute. Maybe you actually want to support some of these devs. You want these developers, especially like the indie ones, a lot of these digital-only games made by smaller studios. Maybe you actually want to give them money for this product they slaved away for. Themes, too. I'd know with the 3DS, you may want to get some fancy themes in that before this all goes into effect. Because, again, you're not going to be able to buy new ones anymore. Now, I know you're all good little Christian children, and you'd never stoop to piracy. You wouldn't steal a car, would you? But this is 100% why, while I'm not a big fan of pirating like everything, particularly new games, this is a situation where pirating, modding your systems is not only completely ethical, it is necessary for preservation. I mean, seriously, if it wasn't for piracy, this stuff would just be lost to time. I mean, is that we're supposed to accept that? Or are people, again, supposed to just shell out crazy money, hundreds of dollars if they want to play some random 3DS game? All because these companies are too incompetent to keep stuff available or to make stuff available on their modern systems. I mean, everyone has these subscription services now that they hide all their classic games behind. Nintendo with Switch Online, the expansion pack, Game Pass, and PlayStation just launched their PlayStation Plus Premium and all that crap. But all of them suck pretty bad when you consider how much of the back catalog is missing. I'm including Xbox in here. They're the ones I praise all the time for probably doing this stuff the best. But still, even in their case, when you look at how many big Xbox and Xbox 360 games are missing from backwards compatibility, from what I think the standard should be, they fall very short. I was just thinking about this the other day, because, I'm always thinking about, like, why Nintendo wouldn't want to put everything they can up on their service. So many people I know would sign up for that. I mean, if you had, like, all the big Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube games, etc. And same with Sony. Now they're offering PS1 and PS2 games, but that catalog is insanely limited. And, of course, the PS3, they're locking all that behind cloud streaming, so it's basically worthless. And part of me wonders if all this stuff is on purpose. Yeah, people will say, like, oh, well, the purpose is they want to trickle the stuff out to keep you subscribed. And I kind of see that, but, like, the Switch Online, this has been going on for years. And the lineup is still super pathetic. And when I think about it, I kind of wonder, is it on purpose? Because if we did have, like, the ultimate libraries on these services, again, like all the Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, even Wii games that you could ever want were on there. And same with PlayStation. All the PS3 stuff is, not restricted to the cloud. It's all, you can download it easily, play it, really strong emulation. All the PS1, again, PS2 games that you could want. Do these companies think that if we had access to all that content, that more people would just play those older games and play less of their modern crap that's filled with microtransactions, busted launches, bare bones launches, certainly in Nintendo's case? I mean, think about how easy it'd be to wait on all these weak-ass sports games Nintendo churns out these days. Wait for them to get finished with all their updates to make them actual full games. Probably can get them a lot cheaper at that point. See exactly what that final product turns out to be. Think about how much easier that decision would be if you had access to hundreds of games from these older systems to play. In the meantime, part of me does think it makes sense for them to not make the offerings good, to not preserve their back catalogs, because they want you to just have to eat all this modern garbage. And that's obviously not to say, like, all the new games are bad and all the old games are good, or all the old games are better than all the new games. No. but I do believe having access to all this classic content would certainly make some of this modern stuff way less desirable. And yeah, that's even more of a reason why piracy, emulation, people hosting and ripping ROMs of games is so important, because these companies clearly don't give a shit about preservation, like even in the slightest. Once more, thinking about the Wii U thing, seriously, and I don't care that the console wasn't successful. I don't give a shit. People still paid for it, perhaps built up a bit of a library on the system, maybe still be playing it regularly to this day. I'm sure, again, there's not too many of those people. And yeah, you're not getting your access to what you bought cut off yet. But if you kind of built up a good library there, you really enjoy the system. Definitely with the 3DS, I would say probably a lot of this stuff, the 3DS makes more sense than the Wii U. But it's like if now you're going to not be able to buy anything new on the system, unless, again, you go to like the aftermarket, have to pay markup prices, that really sucks. I mean, I know there are a lot of people that the 3DS is still like their main handheld. Either they didn't adopt the Switch, or the Switch is too bulky for them to carry around with them everywhere. And to say to those people like, oh, you're just not going to be able to discover new games anymore unless you pay the aftermarket price is just so awful. And these are Nintendo systems we're talking about. I mean, this isn't the Ouya or some shit like that. And like I said at the top, I'm not joking when I say I see a lot of people just, they don't care about this stuff at all. A lot of it, I think, is definitely a younger person thing, people who've grown up going all digital, and also this idea of acting like, oh, well, those are old systems. I mean, again, 10 years, the Wii U's not even 10 years old, and the entire digital storefront's being shut down? That's old? 10 years is old to you? And yeah, for the people who will take to modding their systems, downloading the ROMs, running them on emulators on their PC, whatever, yeah, this stuff may not be the biggest issue for you, but that's also kind of like what I said about people who keep up with gaming news. That's a very small percentage of overall players that take part in all that, mostly just because they don't know how to. So even though those options are available, to many, this is still the same as these games being removed pretty much from existence, if they didn't already buy them. For people in these groups, again, this stuff is pretty much unattainable after these dates. And again, to the people who brush this stuff off, who will be like, oh, well, yeah, everyone should figure out how to emulate, how to mod their system stuff. No, how about these companies just learn how to preserve their own games? Why do I have to figure out how to preserve their games? And then certainly with companies like Nintendo, they come after me when I try to preserve them. It's not good enough. And it's just, yeah, it's sad, it sucks, and like I keep saying in these videos, it's only ramping up. This stuff is only getting worse. These companies are going to keep pushing, seeing how much they can get away with. And like I said also, in terms of the, oh, well, you can still download them at least excuse. Yeah, for the foreseeable future. Can't wait to report on when the end of the foreseeable future is. Anyway, with that, I'm going to cut myself off here before I get too ranty. It's getting harder, honestly. Like I've said in past videos, covering this type of stuff is getting more tiring at this point than anything. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about the official closures of the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U eShops in the comments. Will you be looking to buy anything before they close? Any games? Maybe some of the ones that are digital only that you're looking at? Stuff like themes, as I mentioned. And of course, how do you feel about how things will progress with this stuff in the future as we see these closures, removal of access, and that ramping up? As always, I'm the Shy Guy, Johnny Zakari, and thanks for watching.